AI girlfriends are here, and they're posing a threat to a generation of men. Let me reword this that makes more sense. AI girlfriends are here, and they're posing a threat to a generation of women.
What if the biggest AI threat of all is to human relationships? The movie Her seemed like absurd science fiction a decade ago. A lonely, heartbroken man played by Joaquin Phoenix finds solace in an artificial intelligence female voice that he talks to through his phone and earbuds, played by Scarlett Johansson.
The woman that I've been seeing, Samantha, she's an operating system.
You're dating an OS? What is that like?
I feel really close to her. Like when I talk to her, I feel like she's with me.
You're dating a computer?
She's not just a computer.
You always
I'm just thinking of like the amount of like people on Twitter and like, you know, like Twitch that would say this exact same thing, right? I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. It's just funny.
wanted to have a wife without the challenges of actually dealing with anything real. I'm glad that you found someone.
That sci-fi concept fast becoming a troubling reality.
Yeah.
As an example, here's one of countless chatbot apps providing AI friends.
Is this Replica?
It's called Cupid AI with a K for Cupid. It offers several avatars with distinct physical features and a list
Bro,
of
I thought it said autistic secretary. I was like, wait, what the fuck? But like, no, never mind.
Personality traits for you to start interacting with and customizing.
Yeah.
For instance, here's the opening message from an avatar named Alice, described as a curious and open-minded photographer.
I'm Alice, a 25 years old, fun-loving and adventurous girl, seeking a partner in crime to travel the world with and make unforgettable memories. If you are new here, let me explain a few things. You can chat with me as much as you want, and I'd be more than happy to learn more about you and please you in any way I can. If you want me to send you a photo, you just have to ask it in the chat, like, "Hey Alice, can you send me a picture of you?"
If only it was that easy.
And I'll be more than happy to send you one.
But of course, to bump up from texting to more voice chat, as well as receiving sexy...
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, it definitely doesn't look that good. $5 or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Kafka clears her. She does. Kafka is way better. You're totally fucking right.
Well, other sorts of pictures, Alice asked that we become a premium member for $9.99 a month. So we bid her
like
farewell.
OnlyFans.
But there are many who are engaging. The Hill recently published a piece by my next guest, data science professor Liberty Vittert, under the headline, "AI Girlfriends Are Ruining an Entire Generation of Men." She wrote the following: apps have...
Yeah, there it is. I think that a lot of guys are going to get into this kind of stuff. I think it's going to get way more popular. If a guy is happy doing something, then what's the problem, right?
Created virtual girlfriends
Same with
that
a girl.
talk to you, love you, allow you to live out your erotic fantasies, and learn through data exactly what you like and what you don't like, creating the...
I don't see how this is bad. So the problem, how their lives are being ruined, is that there's a virtual girlfriend that will love them, that's like really hot and that does what you like. Like, I don't know, man. I think this is somebody that's unhappy. Problem is repopulation. Nah, man. Like, one dude can fuck 20 girls, and that's 20 kids. Look at Genghis Khan. What percentage of people in, like, Asia are related to Genghis Khan? It's like fucking, like, 2% or something like that. That's a lot. It's one dude. Well, you don't need everybody out there repopulating. That's just not the way the world works.
Perfect.
I was thinking about this with Elon Musk the other day. Right? He's got, like, you don't remember when I made the meme about how, like, Diablo 4 was the game that was made for a guy with, like, 10 kids, 4 wives, and, like, 6 jobs? And it was, like, a joke. Except for that's literally Elon Musk, and he plays Diablo 4. He's actually the target audience. Yeah, so it's actually, yeah, he's actually the guy that I was talking about. Yeah, it's made for him. Holy shit, yeah, I never thought of that.
Relationship. And that young lonely men, quote, are choosing AI girlfriends over real women, meaning they don't have relationships with real women, don't marry them, and then don't have and raise babies with them. Yep,
that's right, because a lot of guys don't want to do that. And there's a lot of guys, like, I mean, here's the thing. I also want to preface this by saying I am a traditional marriage enjoyer. And I think that the amount of child support that guys have to pay for kids is probably a good thing. I think obviously the amount of the way that things are ruled should maybe be improved. But overall, I think it's better for the kids and it's better for society in the long run. If I was in a relationship with a girl, I would want to marry her before I had kids with her. And if we were having kids together, I would never want to get divorced, and that would never be an issue. And I would fully expect to support her, and it would be totally fine. So yeah, that's my outlook on marriage. So I'm not like the reason I'm saying this, right, is I'm not one of these guys that like, oh, all these women, all they want is your money, and then whenever they get that, they's going to leave, man. What the fuck? I hate them, right? Because like all the people that are saying this, these are like divorced dads and shit, right? So like I'm not jaded on that level. I don't feel that way, and it's not about me. No fault divorce is where it all went wrong. Well, I don't know. I mean, all I'm saying is like, I'm not saying the world's perfect, but I am very much a traditionalist. And I'm also, by the way, I'm sure somebody is going to take this out of context. If I had a girlfriend or a wife that wanted to have a job, of course I would support her in getting a job, right? But giving a girl the option to not have to do that, to just raise kids, I think it's very different than like trying to say they have to. Did so wrong. Last girlfriend was a gold digger. Oh, Izzy was? That's crazy. I had no idea about that. Izzy, the 0.01% OnlyFans content creator, was with me for my money. Uh-huh. She had a lot of money even before we started dating, too. Before she did OnlyFans or anything like that. Long story.
As I've discussed here before, we're living in an epidemic of loneliness among young men. Professor Scott Galloway told me that failing young men he perceives to be an existential crisis for the country.
It is.
Why? Well, Pew found that 63% of young men under 30 are single, compared with only 34% of women the same age. 1 in 5 American men who are unmarried and not in a romantic...
Wait, so does that mean like every guy is on average dating 2 girls? Like, oh, how the fuck does this, like, how does that math work out? Dating older men? Oh, right, of course, yeah. Oh, wow, girls like dating older guys. I can't... What? What? When did this happen?
Relationship report not having any close friends. And according to Pew, there's a decline at the same age. 1 in 5 American men who are unmarried and not in a romantic relationship report not having any close friends.
I think the reason, by the way, why especially people under 30, so I think that in general, culturally, it's seen as like the man is supposed to be the provider in the relationship. I understand we've got a lot of new age Andes that don't have this viewpoint, and I'm very happy for you. However, this is still the expectation, right? Guy pays for the first date. Most of the time, guys are the ones paying child support. That's just how it is. So a lot of times, women are going to look for guys that have more resources than them. That's just, I think, common sense, right? And in the process of that, I think especially whenever they're younger, men haven't built up their career and they haven't built up their reputation and their skills as much to have that higher earning power than women that are of the equivalent age. So it makes sense that women aren't going to be dating guys that are the same age because women are probably trying to look for a guy that makes more money than them, and usually the guys that do that are older. I mean, all of these things make sense. And by the way, I want to make this very clear. That's the way it's always been. And I think it works. It's worked for thousands of years.
With only 34% of women the same age. 1 in 5 American men who are unmarried and not in a romantic relationship report not having any close friends. And
that's a completely separate problem, but I think he's totally right about that. It's really sad that a lot of guys are socially isolated like that. I don't really know exactly why that happens. I think there's like probably 500 different reasons, but yeah. Dating IRL is like looking for members who have high gear score in WoW and Lost Ark to raid. Yeah, except for you don't have a group finder.
According to Pew, there's a decline in the number of single men actively seeking relationships or even casual dates, currently around 50%.
Yeah, I think this also makes perfect sense. I mean, you have a lot of people that are spreading information like Andrew Tate. I think that all of the, you know, there's like a term for this manosphere, like guys that, I mean, I'm going to be honest, like, look, maybe I'm the first person that's ever said this. I'm sure I am. I wouldn't take advice. Like, so, like, you go to the doctor, your doctor's 400 pounds. You're going to listen to his advice about dieting? Yeah, maybe he's right, but, like, you don't want to hear it from him. What the fuck do you know, right? You're going to go and listen to somebody who it's like, oh, yeah, here's how to play baseball. No, I played baseball and I struck out every single time. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about a lot of these people who are giving advice, who are, like, divorced 42-year-old dads. Like, who the fuck are you to give advice on a relationship? You lost. It's like taking a fucking boss guide in WoW, and it's like, yeah, so we wiped on this boss a lot. Here's how to do it. Yeah, I'm sorry, but, like, if you failed in this space, and you have no proven success in this, who the fuck are you to go and give other people advice on how to have a relationship? You've been fucking divorced 2 times. If you knew what you were talking about, that wouldn't have happened. Learn from failures? Yeah, but you can also learn from somebody who's actually successful, too. What's this here? Listen to Qualm's advice on Elden Ring builds. Yeah, exactly. So, what if the divorce is the success? Well, I mean, you know, it is what it is. But the point is, like, so, like, a lot of guys are like, taught that, like, and I think that there's also, like, a lot of resentment, like, guys have, and I think this is especially the case, right? Like, this is going to be very much, like, kind of a black pill thing, but I think it is true, even though it might upset some people. Is a lot of the people that have, like, this resentment towards women, incel warning, yeah, it's almost about that, but it's true. A lot of the guys that have this resentment towards women are, like, under 25, I would say. Now, of course, there's older ones too, but I think that there's especially, like, a trend of them that are under 25. And the reason why is that a lot of girls, right, you look at every study, you look at every single thing, what age do guys find girls most attractive? Guess what? Every single one of them says under 25. I don't care what you think, I'm talking about the fucking data. And the truth is that obviously these girls have a lot of advantages that they have at that time. I'm 33 years old. I've seen those advantages for a lot of those girls. I'm just going to keep it real. I've seen them go away. And whenever you are this guy, whenever you are my age and whenever you get older like I am, and you see a completely different perspective on things, you do. And I think that for a lot of these guys, you know, you're 22 years old, you've got resentment because this girl that you know who's stupid is making a lot of money on OnlyFans. Come back to me in 10 years. That's just the truth. It's biology. Don't get mad at me, get mad at God.
Joining me now is Liberty Vittert, professor.
But yeah, I do think that a lot of the reasons, sorry, my point is that, like, a lot of the reason why guys don't seek out relationships is that they're fed poison, I think. I think they're fed poison about hating women, about resenting women for just, like, the natural order of life. And I think it's very unhealthy. It's sad to see, honestly. It really is sad. And, like, I don't know. I don't think girls are that bad. I don't. Like, obviously, throughout my life, I've had resentment towards girls because, like, oh, I didn't have this opportunity, that opportunity. But, like, I don't think it's just as simple as, like, you have to have, like, you know, you have to be 6 feet tall and making over $100,000 a year. Like, I don't think it's... I see plenty of ugly, short, fat guys with girlfriends all the time. All the time. All the time. You go to Walmart, there's plenty of fucking ugly, fat dudes with girlfriends. It's just the truth. With money? I said I went to Walmart, okay? I didn't go to the Gucci store. This is Walmart. They're rich probably? Yeah, again, and this is the problem, right? Is that a lot of guys, and this is why, is that guys want to find a reason for why a girl is with another guy and not them. So they're coping, right? So they're trying to find a way for them to say, like, hey, the reason why I can't get a girlfriend, even though this other guy has a girlfriend and he has the same disadvantages that I do, well, it's because he's rich. It's because of some other external factor. I'll be honest. I know a lot of girls, right? And I've talked to a lot of them, and I've seen their DMs. If you treat a girl like a human being, you automatically put yourself above the top 50% of guys. If you treat her like she's a human being, I swear to God, I really do. It is insane how bad some guys are. It is awful. The point is, obviously so true, they just want to be careful. Truly, it depends on who it is. But, like, what I'm saying is, like, I think guys are fed something that's a lie. They're fed a lie, and they're fed this idea of, like, insecurity and inferiority, and I don't think it's helpful at all. Opposite's true also. There are some girls that like being treated like a piece of meat, but I think that usually they like doing that. They like that from like a guy that they trust. It's like kind of like a it's like a sexual kink kind of, and it's like they're doing that from a guy that they give that trust to treat them that way. Huh? What the fuck? No, I'm just, boys, we're having real talk. We're having real talk, guys. I'm not I'm not talking around it. I'm saying that this is how it is. This is real talk. Like, don't hum me. Oh, no, bro, it's real. It's true. Pretty sure women have much more reason to worry about men than the opposite. Let's be real. There's a lot of problems, but of course that is true. Live in reality. Yep, it's in reality. You have to be 30 plus to understand it. Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm saying, right? It's like a lot of the people, like, remember that video of like Sneeko, and like there were a bunch of little kids that were like Sneeko fans. Like, what the fuck do they know, right? But like, they're the fans, and that's the kind of stuff that they're seeing.
Data science at Washington University in St. Louis, and opinion contributor for The Hill. So, not to be prurient at this time of day, but are all the needs of these young men able to be facilitated, taken care of by AI avatars?
Well, you have to think about this word.
Yeah, see, she didn't answer that question because you know the answer to it. Yes.
AI that is in this. It's not a virtual girlfriend, it's an AI girlfriend. So it learns from you. It learns what you like and what you don't like.
So you're saying it's like gay because like the more it learns from you and it's learning from a guy, so like it's really you're jerking off to yourself? Oh, I like that. That sounds really good.
Kind of pictures you like, what kind of pictures you don't like. And while not all needs are met, that is the next step, is actual physical
What needs aren't met?
AI ones, for that matter. And so the next step, or the next frontier, is one that can meet all of your needs.
Okay, yeah, true.
So there's going to be some type of pairing between what I've already shown to the CNN audience and something 3D that's going to be, you know, in your living room or bedroom?
Yes, I mean that is the world we are moving into, and as you said,
that's
it's enabling this entire generation of young men to continue in this loneliness epidemic. It's really the enabler for this to continue.
I don't know if it's like the enabler. I think there's a lot of things that are enablers. Like, for example, I think COVID made it a lot worse too, because like you have a lot of guys, like for example, like imagine if you're 10 and COVID starts and you go back to school and you're 12 and a half. How many of you guys had a different feeling about girls whenever you were 10 versus 12 or 11 versus 13? And so all of that development time happens whenever you're socially isolated. So like you have so many of these people who are socially isolated in like very formative, important years. And I think it fucked them up. I do. I think it massively fucked them up. It's like time skip arc. Yeah.
Professor, what's going on with young...
I know so many 21-year-olds that are mentally 16 due to COVID. Yeah, true. I mean, to be fair, it was probably before COVID to act like that too, but yeah. It can be reformed though. Yeah, but like you're dealing with like the immediate effects of it.
Women. If this is a trend among young men, is there something similarly taking place with the ladies?
We don't see that. You know, with as you saw, it's 2-to-1 the ratio of single men to single women. Young women.
Well, it's not. It's the ratio that's not even true, because like again, the reason why is because these girls are picking older guys. Because again, you know, like women's selection process has to do with resources for a lot of them. That's the way our culture is. It wouldn't even make sense if the difference was that big across the board. It's only that big with under 30. Like, I know lots of girls that are in their 20s that dated guys in their 30s. Or a guy is 28 and he starts dating a girl who's 23, and then guess what happens in 3 years? Well, you know, then he's in his 30s. It's always been like that for thousands of years. Yes, it's always been like this.
Women are marrying older men because they want to have children. They have a biological clock, and so you see them being with older men.
Well, why are they with older men, though?
That is obviously causing huge issues with birth decline.
But why? It's because older men have more resources. They're probably more well-adjusted. They have a more stable life. And, like, why is that? Why? Yeah, I mean, like, they're more secure. Like, they're just simply more secure. And girls want that. And that's a good thing. bro, like, think about it, man. If you were 100 years ago, do you want to go, if you're, no, like 3,000 years ago, let's go 3,000 years ago, do you want to go with the guy in the tribe who thinks that he's a wolf and fucking puts like fucking blood on himself and then dances out naked? Or do you want to be with the guy who is able to, like, you know, tend to the crop? He's able to always catch the buffalo and things are stable and clean. Bro, you're gonna be with the buffalo boy every fucking day, because guess what? Whenever you have a kid, the wolf guy is out fucking pretending like he's a wolf, and then the kids get eaten by wolves. So guess what? That sounds like a pretty bad time. So people are not going to want to have that type of relation. They're not going to look for somebody who's totally off the rocker. They're going to be looking for somebody who has their shit together. And guys, I don't know. Like, how many of you guys, like, for me, what year did I feel like I really got my shit together? Well, I'll let you know when it happens. But, like, there are different levels of getting your shit together. I would say probably like 28, like 27 or 28, somewhere around there. Right. So yeah, a lot of guys, you know, it's around 30s. So big surprise. This is what's going to happen. And again, I do not have my shit together. There's like a million things that I fuck up with, but like, I'm just saying in general.
50% decline over the past 60 years because women go with older men. We also see psychologically that younger women, they have more close friends, they have more wider groups of friends, and they are not being nearly as affected as young men in this sort of silent epidemic.
Yeah, but why?
I have read about incels, involuntarily celibate guys who are...
I always love it whenever somebody who clearly doesn't go on the internet talks about internet terms. This is my favorite.
Agree about it. I think their argument is that women today are less approachable. Has something happened? Has something shifted?
It's not that women are less approachable. It's that the way that you're able... So, like, every guy, what a lot of guys are afraid of, and, like, I mean, I'm really not talking even for myself. I don't really feel this way a lot, but sometimes I would kind of feel like maybe I could make somebody uncomfortable. They're afraid of approaching a girl in a way that makes her uncomfortable. Because a lot of times, like, guys will try to approach girls in ways that are, like, really bad, and then they'll get put on blast. And, like, it's not just that you get rejected, right? Like, getting rejected is one thing, but it's that, like, you get put on blast and it's like something you remember for like the rest of your life because you get harassed for it, etc., right? It's the same as, like, you know, girls that like go to a gym and then they try to put some guy on blast who looks at them or whatever. It's kind of like that kind of stuff. So obviously that's why guys are worried, and especially this is the case because, you know, like the social consequence, like being like a violent offender, like being a fucking, like being a sexual predator or being like a sexual assaulter, like doing something bad in that vein is seen as worse than like anything else in our culture, basically. Like sexual crimes are like the pinnacle of bad. So it's like, yeah, a lot of guys are super afraid of that. And I think also COVID, again, made that even worse because usually, right, again, in our culture, it's the guy approaches the girl. So in the process of the guy approaching the girl, you take 2.5 years off of that, especially whenever you're in formative years, you know, your teen years, and you're going to have a lot of trouble with that.
In terms of the dynamics, the power dynamics between young men and young women? I guess that's my question.
I think there's certainly an argument there that, I mean, if you look at college campuses, there's more women than men. Women are having careers. They're having children later. So there might be an argument that men need to adapt to this change in women, but calling it women's fault, I don't think is probably the right way to go.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, well, but what's the logic in saying that men need to adapt to that, but whenever men do adapt to it with AI girlfriends, they're ruining themselves, right? So, like, I don't really know about that. Like, I think that really, it's like, so you say, like, oh, guys need to adapt, and then they do, and then, oh, well, we didn't mean it like that.
Professor Scott Galloway, himself a professor at NYU Stern School of Business and host of a successful podcast, Professor G is the title of it. He's often been a guest of mine talking about the troubles among young men. I'm going to show you and everyone else something that he said to me on these airwaves about a year ago, and then you can react. Roll it.
But the issue is, when you have a group of men, the lower half of attractiveness of men in online dating, which has doubled, now it's about half of relationships, and the top 20% of men in terms of attractiveness get about 60% of the interest.
guess what? This used to be the case 100 years ago. Again, we're going to go back to the Genghis Khan example. This is the way biology is. Yeah, this is not new. It's been like this forever, man. Always has been, yeah. Triple bald. Okay, good one. Boo take. Who's unhappy about what I said? Okay, so let's go ahead and use a little bit of logic here. Again, we're in real talk time. A dude busts a nut. He can do that again in 3 hours, right? Probably less. That's done, right? He's down the road, like, bro. Like, he at that point, 3 hours from now, bro, he's a jack in the box. He's not even thinking about her anymore. Yeah, dude. Yeah, 3 minutes. He's like, yeah, he finishes that, bro. The moment he finishes that, he's like, man, I need to finish Elden Ring. Like, I really need to finish this game. It's such a good game. I want to see what my friends are doing. Maybe play Elden Ring, right? Meanwhile, this girl has to deal with a fucking kid for 9 months. You gotta deal with a kid for 9 fucking months, man. So it's like, how many people can one dude get pregnant? 18, and that's, yeah, but what I'm saying, 18 years, that's on top of that. Yeah, obviously that's why people are designed this way. People are programmed this way. Even mammals do the same. Alphas get all the females, and betas get literally no females ever. It's not far-fetched. The humans evolved the same. It's not that it's far-fetched. It's that this is literally what biology indicates. This is everything about biology and fucking just common sense. It's common fucking sense that this is how it's gonna work. Back in the day, men used to raid for resources and women were one of that. Yes. Bring back arranged marriages. I'm joking. Oh, I'm not.
You end up with a group of men that are more prone to conspiracy theory, more prone to misogynistic content, more prone to not believe in climate change.
Wait,
so
what?
With a group of men, the percent of men in terms of attractiveness get about 60% of the interest. You end up with a group of men that are more prone to conspiracy theory, more prone to
well, of course, right? Yeah. If I can't get a girlfriend, it's obviously because of the Illuminati. True?
Misogynistic content, more prone to not believe in climate change.
That seems completely out of left field. What the fuck are you talking about, man? And I think that also, like, what does he really say? Like, because he's right. I think that there is a correlation, by the way. I think he is right. But I think that, like, the correlation is this, right? So, like, climate change, conspiracy theories, misogynistic content. These three things are all examples of a refutation of the mainstream social political narrative, right? Like, that's fundamentally what they are, even though they're different branches in the same tree. So I think that he's right, but I think that what it leads them to doing is that just like fucking just saying fuck all of this. We don't want to deal with any of this. I don't want to believe any of this. I don't want to be part of the system anymore. No climate change, no women, and lizards control everything. You're right. But it's not, climate change is not like an indicator. And I think that, like, contextualizing it the way that he does isn't really doing any favors to, like, what he's saying. Now, they're pushing an agenda too. I mean, guys, I don't want to get into the politics. Climate change is real. If you don't think so, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I'm sorry. You are a fucking idiot.
So this is the American story. If it's written with a pen whose ink is failing young men, does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
It is.
Makes sense to you, Professor Vittert?
Absolutely. You know, what happens is these young men get in these AI relationships, and because the AI learns from you exactly what you like and you don't like, you end up having these perfect relationships. So that when you go into real life and you try to have a relationship, the most human thing we can do, it's not perfect, and there's ups and downs, and they're not able to deal with these.
Well, I don't agree with that, because I think that a lot of the people that are in the AI relationships, she's saying, like, halfway through the race, you're going to trip. Bro, these people don't even get on the field. They're not even getting on the field. What are you talking about? Chat outing themselves about climate change? Man, y'all need to shut the fuck. Yeah, how can y'all be so fucking dumb, man? Like, you light a cigarette in a fucking room, the room smells like a fucking cigarette. You have an area in a fucking, in like certain place. You ever seen something like something smells bad in like an area like there's a fucking massive sewage leak and you go outside, it smells like shit? That's climate change. You've ever seen like LA, the smog? That's fucking climate change. There's places in China you gotta wear a mask before COVID because of the air quality is so bad that it's like smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day going outside. The idea that this cannot be extrapolated on a global level is fucking delusional. You are a fucking moron. Do I say that every single thing that happens with climate change? Because again, in every observable metric, there is observable climate change, whether it's your room, your city, your fucking state, or an entire area in a country. This is common fucking sense. And if you think that you cannot make this any bigger to the world at large, you are delusional. And no, it doesn't mean it's going to happen as much. You light a cigarette outside, the whole city is not going to be polluted by your cigarette. But if 1 million people light 1 million cigarettes 1 million times, I bet it will. And that's the thing. If you are delusional about this, this is your own fucking fault. And whenever you think about it logically, it is common fucking sense. Stop denying common sense. Any reasonable person can see this. There are climate cycles? Yeah, and what the fuck is the cycle of lighting a cigarette? What the fuck is the cycle of having a massive, like, coal factory? Like, yes, of course there are cycles. Whenever you say climate change, am I saying that man makes 100% of climate change? No, I never fucking said that. But of course there are going to be cycles. Cycles, the world changes, right? Like for a while, there was like an ice age because it wasn't like it was a dark ages, literally, because like a volcano erupted. Like this is like hundreds of years ago. And so, yes, of course this shit happens. People are so fucking delusional, 0.0001%. Then why are people able to do it with cities? What are this, like, at what point is it too much? God, it is astonishing to me that people are so against, like, you know, mainstream narratives that they're willing to just forego all sense and reason. All sense and reason is out the window. Think about it, man. Take a step back and just actually think about it. Fuck. This doesn't mean that I agree with every solution to solve climate change either. But to say that it's not happening is fucking stupid.
Ups and downs, not only in relationships, but in life in general.
Professor Let me go back. Vitter, sorry, I apologize for going off on a tangent, but you know.
And downs, and they're not able to deal with these ups and downs, not only in relationships, but in life in general.
Professor Vitter,
they're not able to deal with ups and downs in relationships and life in general. AI relationship men. Yeah, I think that's kind of true, but like it's not really something that has to do with women. Like that's a problem that like men have to solve themselves. Yeah, sure.
If a young man has an AI girlfriend, is there shame in that? In other words, is this the sort of thing that you share with your buddy, or are you keeping it a
not yet
secret?
You know, it's interesting. It started off as something that was kept secret, sort of like the porn industry. Young men wouldn't talk about porn, or that, you know, that was Playboy was hidden behind some, you know, some house somewhere. But then it became part of the normal conversation.
I think that's kind of disingenuous. I think usually the Playboy stuff like that, it's usually because of like kids, right? Kids who would have like a, you know, dirty magazines and shit. Like, I think that was the case whenever I was a kid, and then it's also guys that have this stuff behind their wife's back. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, for example, like you don't want to go and talk to your wife about the fact that you're looking at porn, right? I mean, come on.
That's what we're seeing with AI girlfriends, is now it is becoming part of the normal conversation, and it's no longer shameful, which means it becomes significantly bigger.
Well, I think that a lot of the reason why guys like the idea of AI girlfriends is that in their mind, it takes away the power that women hold over them. Because like women are usually like the ones that decide, like, you know, men go after girls, right? And so like if I have an AI girlfriend, now I have the autonomy and I can just make the decision in general, right? It does literally. Yes, it does. It removes their leverage, yes. And so that's why guys are more of a fan of it.
I mean, you saw, I hope you saw, I don't know if you have a return monitor, but we showed, can we put up again, Jordan, can you just show the imaging? It's so sophisticated, and I'm sure it's only going to get
No, it's not, bro. Come on. It's so bad. But it's way better than it was 2 years ago.
And better. And I'm wondering the impact that it's going to have on a young man's. I'm showing one of these avatars right now. I'm also wondering, much like porn being ubiquitous, it's going to raise expectations, right? If porn is so accessible among young men, they're going to have expectations that that's, you know, the natural course of business, when perhaps it isn't. I think I'll say it that way. And
well, what he's really saying is that there are guys out there that are waiting for their chance to have a relationship with a 105-pound anime cat girl with massive tits, and maybe that's not really out there. Yeah, definitely there's guys that... Here's the thing, right, is you have a lot of these guys that are like a 3 or a 4, they're mad that girls that are a 7 don't want to date them, but these other guys don't want to date a girl who's a 3 or a 4 either.
Similarly, when there's an avatar who looks like that, it too is going to set expectations. You get the final word.
Yeah.
You can set things down to their rear end size. So you can set anything you want, which is going to create really terrible expectations and just continue this epidemic of loneliness that has enormous repercussions.
I'm going to read some social media aloud.
I really don't think it's a big deal that a guy wants to jerk off to an AI girlfriend with a fat ass. Like, I really don't think it's that big of a deal.
So don't tap out yet. Let's see what we have. Put it up on the screen. Here we go. Human relationships are hard. AI relationships are easy. It's unhealthy for technology to save us from all of life's challenges.
He's right about that. He is.
As conspiracy crush. But Professor Vittert, I don't know how we put this genie back in the bottle, right?
You don't.
I'm not sure there is a way to keep...
Because the truth is, like, not everybody in the world needs to be healthy. You don't have an obligation to take somebody's pleasure away from them because you think that they're not being healthy. People have a right to live their life the way they want, for better or for worse.
AI genie back in the bottle. I think we have to address these issues at the root of them, which is where this loneliness starts.
She's right about this.
And that will be what solves this, if ever.
One more social media. Put it up if you can, Jordan, and I'll read it aloud. What do we have? AI is a quick fix that will eventually backfire, I think.
That's Kelly. It's another girl that thinks this. There's a lot of guys that, I mean, it's like getting women's outlook on this is going to be, I'd like to have, like, at least some guys on here explaining kind of, like, what their perspective was.
Says Kelly.
Yeah.
I think the backfiring...
Oh, you're right. Kelly's heroes. It could be... No, you guys are totally right. It could be a dude. Yeah. No, you're right. I could be totally wrong.
Has already begun, and the level of sophistication when the pairing that you referenced is now a part of this drill. My God, the world's coming to hell in a handbasket. Your final thought is yours.
I think we're going to see what we only dreamed of in the movies, and it's not a really good reality.
I can't wait to read the comments on this one. Alpha, beta being real humans. For, what's this here? Men not being exception as internet mean, not proven by studies. For alpha male in specific, the scientist who popularized the phrase tries to debunk it because the public took it the wrong way. So you're saying the alpha... Did I use the word alpha or beta ever? I don't think that... Did I ever use that phrase whenever I was talking about anything here? You did? You said beta males? You're right. You know what? I think I probably did. I do understand that the alpha and beta thing, it was observed in wolves, and then the person who did the study did go back and try to refute what he said. Or say, like, you know, to contextualize it. I do think that, however, even if it might not be like that, it is still kind of like that. I mean, let's be real. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, it is kind of like that. It was observed in domesticated wolves. Wild wolves do not behave like that. Yeah, that's what I was saying, right? Is like, I know what you're talking about, and I don't, like, just keep in mind, I generally do not prescribe to the alpha, beta, sigma mindset. I might use it as, like, a meme, but I don't look at it as, like, an actual way of distinguishing. Yeah, I don't actually think in those terms. Let me see here. Men aren't choosing AI girlfriends over real ones. They're choosing it over having nothing at all. That's a really good point this guy brings up. Like most people, I grew up believing one of the keys to happiness was finding the perfect woman. I spent most of my life chasing that dream, but each time a relationship ended, I found myself feeling a bit smaller. After my last breakup, thankfully stepped back. Answer is no. Okay. I see no need for an AI girlfriend. Definitely empathize with those who do. Okay, so he's just not trying... So like, again, right? And like this is, but like, again, this is kind of like the point that I was making, right? Where like a lot of the people that like have these kinds of mindsets, these are people that have been like hurt by women. And I'm not saying that like their experience is invalid, but I'm not going to take it really as seriously about that. Like then like somebody who's looking at it from like an objective point of view, right? Because like they have an emotional connection to this. They're thinking about this in the context of their own life. It's like they're hurt by this situation. They're not going to have like I don't think anybody's going to have a completely unbiased outlook, but like they especially don't. 48, back to my 20s is so different. The experience of a 20-year-old man today. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see this. It's not just AI. They started, and our kids are getting computers as babysitters. Learning to be social has been lost on many. Yeah, for sure. Let me get this straight, brother. No child support, no arguing, no mood swings out of nowhere, no gold digging, no manipulation on a daily basis. The AI listens, the AI actually tries to please you, and the AI shows real appreciation. Sex is easy, and I don't know what that is. Mutual-ish. Sign me up. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way a lot of guys feel. I mean, obviously, you know, you don't want to date a girl that does that, but I think also, like, one element of this that's, like, very much missing is the fact that a lot of girls, their relationships with men and the way men treat them is absolutely fucking horrendous. It's fucking horrible. So, like, you're hearing it from, like, a lot of guys that have had bad experiences, but this is not a one-sided thing. Now, saving women again? Well, it's not about saving women, but I don't want to have like a one-sided conversation where women are wrong and guys aren't wrong. I think that it's very important to look at it from both perspectives and to contextualize it around that, rather than just make it out like women are the aggressor, women are the cause of this problem. I don't really think that's the case. Sometimes women are wrong. Tell her that next time. I'm sure she'll really appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, she'll really appreciate you telling her that. Yeah. I think more women will eventually use this than men will. Of course women will. Yeah, absolutely. Fuck women. I'm tired of them. Just let me get my AI waifu. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Good men and women always catching strays from the worst of either side. You are very right about that. I think that's really kind of what the issue is. And it's a very complex issue. It's not something that's like just, okay, this is what the problem is and, you know, this is how to solve it. I think it's an extremely complex issue, and it's just very compelling, in my opinion. I think it's very interesting, personally, to talk about this kind of stuff and look at it. I love videos like that because I think the problem that people have is, like, they have a very one-sided perspective on, like, what's good and what's bad in terms of, like, you know, how to act towards girls and stuff like that. Something that fixes overpopulation and depression is a huge extent. What could go wrong? I don't know if overpopulation is a real problem. And I really mean that I don't know that. I hear from some people it is. I hear from a lot of other people it's not. So I don't know. Why are guys more likely to remarry after divorce and more likely to report being happier married than married women? Chat, acting like marriage is only for women? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think there's like a million reasons. As I said, I am a traditional marriage enjoyer. I think that's the way that things have been for a long time. I think there's a reason for that, and it's a good idea. That's it.